What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Jasmine J, and we are back with another episode of CCGo, where we talk to innovators and change makers who are doing major things in our community. Today is a special episode because I am honored to be sitting here to have on the show today K-Rino. How you feeling today?
I'm blessed again.
Yes.
Glad to be on your show. Honored to be a part of your platform and all the great things y'all are doing.
We appreciate that. So I've been doing my research. So I'm excited to have this conversation. I can't say I knew of your music, but I didn't know who you were. Till my sister started having some events a couple years ago, then you started coming around. I just saw how much respect everybody in the industry had for you. So I went to go be a nerd, look it all up. So I'm excited to talk about everything. But before we dig in, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey.
Just fell in love with music probably from day one. Even before I was doing rap music, I grew up in one of those households where they had the Al Green and the Isley Brothers and the Stevie Wonder playing.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That was my first really dive into falling in love with music. Then when hip hop came around, like late 70s into the 80s, I was done after that. And I started writing in 83 and I haven't stopped since.
So you started writing back in 83. Wow. So, man, I can't wait to talk about just the different changes you've been able to see and things like that. So what inspired your pursuit of hip-hop? So I know you always loved music, but why hip-hop?
You know, for people of my generation, it was a song called Rapper's Delight that came out.
My dad says the same thing about what inspired him with hip-hop.
That's what it was. And because that was something that was just new. Like I said, we've been listening to R&B all our life, and then all of a sudden this song comes on the radio, hip-hop, and so it's like, man, what is this? So everybody knew the words to that song by heart.
Yeah.
And including me, I knew all the words, but it was something new. We had never seen nothing like that, and like, man, they playing this on the radio. So that was really what got me. Then Curtis Blow, Grandmaster Flash, and Melly Mel, all the way up into the Run DMC days, and I was hooked after that.
Okay. So tell me how, I know, so South Park Coalition. So tell me, once you got started in your journey with hip hop, how did it grow into you finding the South Park Coalition?
Yeah, from 83 to 87, I was really just kind of honing my skills, getting my game together. By 87, I'm in the 11th grade. So we had a group of guys that I ran with, all of us was rapping, DJing, whatever. And I was like, man, we need to have just a clique, have an organization. So we was all from South Park, and I wanted to have a name to it, South Park something.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be the South Park crew, everything that everybody else was. So I seen the word coalition in a book in class. I was like, man, I like that. It had a good ring to it. So we just went with the South Park Coalition. We started doing things collectively. That was a high school called Jones High School, a little bit further down Martin Luther King. And we linked up with our brothers Gangsta Nip, Klondike Cat, AC Chill, Murder One. And when we merged with those guys, the South Park Coalition really got big because they had better rappers than us at the time.
I know that's right. So that goes right into the power of collaboration, even way back then, because we talk about in today's industry how we need to collaborate. We need to have true collaborations and true partnerships that can help us scale. So talk to us a little bit about how that was way back then with y'all coming together and how it is still a staple in our culture in Houston today.
It was a miracle back then because the competitiveness of rap in those days was a lot different than it is now.
Okay.
People coming to rap now more business oriented, more brand oriented as individuals. Back then, it was all about supremacy. It was all about, I gotta prove I'm the better rapper than this dude.
Okay.
He gotta prove he the better rapper than that dude. So a lot of rappers didn't like each other. And when we came together with those guys, it was born out of battle rapping, just rivalry. And then eventually the rivalry turned into respect. And we was like, man, we better together than apart. But it didn't matter where you went, what side of town, what school you went to, what talent show you was at. It was almost a pure hatred between the rappers. So the collaboration
changed the game.
Was a miracle. It was a miracle. Crazy. Yeah.
You know, that's definitely interesting. Definitely a perspective, because that is true. These days, people are getting more into the industry because of what they think it could provide for them, or the business side, or like you say, some artists are really trying to build a brand, and rap is just something they do along that. Well, back then it was serious. It's I'm representing for my home, my hood, my people,
and myself. And we came up going through the trenches. In other words, it was kind of a process. When you came into rap back then, everybody had to be a battle rapper. You had to know how to defend yourself lyrically, because anywhere you went at any moment, you could be walking through the mall and some cats will walk up and challenge you. So the mindset was more aggressive in terms of like, I'm defending myself and my territory. So it was just different then.
All right, so that takes us right to our next segment, which is just talking about the longevity you've had in the music industry. So let's talk about just some of the changes you see from when you first got into the industry and what you see today.
Well, you know, one of the main things that stand out to me is when we started recording, we had no concept of how to put a song together. We had no concept of how to operate in a studio setting. Nowadays, everybody got a studio. You could actually record full songs on a phone.
Yeah.
And it sound mixed and mastered almost. So just the technology, the technological aspect of it has grown and changed so much. That's one of the things that stands out. But the knowledge of the game now is still not where it needs to be, but it's greater than it was back then. We had no concept of contracts, publishing, just the business in general. And it's still got a long way to go now, but a lot of these young artists, they come in kind of already on top of that.
Yeah, and do you think that comes from people like in your generation giving back to the younger artists, or do you think that comes from what they have access to and exposure to when it comes to AI and just different things?
It's a mixture of both, because I think that we didn't really care about that. We were more focused on the artist stuff, and like I said, proving that we were the best artists.
Yeah.
But I think some of the younger artists have seen what happened to a lot of the older artists in terms of getting beat out of their money and just getting robbed like that. And those young artists who have been historians, they looking like, I don't want that to happen to me.
For sure.
And then there have been older artists that have told their stories like, nah, you better learn this, you better learn that. You know, so I think it's just like a combination of both of them.
So speaking of that, with just being like a independent artist, talk to me a little bit about that, and why do you feel like that's a role that a lot more people are taking today, being an independent artist?
Because again, they learning the knowledge of the business. So the history of music, even before hip hop was around and how they capitalized off of that, the history has always been that the label makes all of the money and the artist gets crumbs.
Crumb of it.
Minimal amounts of money, just enough to keep you active. But historically, a lot of our greatest artists have died broke. And while you look at these record labels who are putting their families through college and building generational wealth off of the work of these great artists that have come along. So with us, we had to kind of grow into that and say, you know what, we're not gonna let that happen to us.
Yeah.
And a few of them still got caught up in it, but for me, I was blessed because when I first started, we were trying to go down the same road, sending demos off to record labels. We was trying to get in that matrix because we didn't know.
Right.
But as time went on, we was like, we better off doing this by ourselves anyway. You know, because you can make more as an independent and having full ownership than you can being signed to a label and they're dictating the microscopic amounts that they're gonna pay you as an artist.
Okay, wow. So what are some other like timeless lessons that you've learned just throughout this industry? That sounds like one of them, but what are some other timeless lessons?
Well, from an artistic standpoint, one of the biggest things that I'm grateful for is the discovery of understanding that you have to be relatable in your music. Meaning that at the end of the day, if you were speaking to the conditions of the people and what's going on at the time, then your music becomes timeless. So things that you rapped about 15, 20 years ago are still relevant, and information that you gave out then is still applicable now.
Right.
Because you were tuned in to what was going on and not necessarily riding waves or chasing fads and trends that were hot in the moment, and then you put all your eggs into that basket, and then when that fades out, you fade with it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong if you make a song, nice dance song, whatever, that's cool, but you have to have a balance to make sure that people see you as an artist that gives them something mentally at the same time, and they'll gravitate towards. That's how you establish what you call a core audience.
Yes.
Because when people can see themselves in you and your work, then they're gonna latch on to you and I need to know what's coming next.
Yes.
Yeah.
I talk about that all the time. It's the same as like building community as a business owner.
Right.
Once you build community and you have people that you support and you're basically solving their problems, so they trust you. And so if you want to sell them a pair of socks, they're going to buy those socks because they're in your community. So I think that is really important for artists to understand, and really the power of storytelling. Like that's how you're going to relate to people. Is like there has to be a story somewhere in this, even if it's a club banger, even if we turned up on it, like what are we doing? What does this mean?
Yeah. And see, and everybody talks about my brand. Your brand is not actual physical items.
Right.
Your brand is the intangible things about you that make people know who you are as a person, and that relatability. So that becomes a brand. That becomes something that you market. So you have to focus on what's gonna be something that connects you to the people.
Yeah, and I think you're a great example of that, like I said, because I got to hear what so many other people had to say about you. I've been in the room with you several times, but it was never you up there with the mic saying, hey, I'm K-Rino, I've done this, that. It was always other people talking about the work ethic that you did in building your career and why they have so much respect for you now. So it's like you were focused on the music, and that you built your brand while focusing on the music. And now your brand is still lasting to today.
And more importantly than anything, the name that you have in this industry. And that transfers over to the name that you have as a person. When I say your name, I mean your reputation and how you move. So this is a game that's already 90% dirty as it is. And what makes it dirty are dirty people. So when you move in a way that you know, look, I'm not gonna do nothing to nobody that I wouldn't want them to do to me. I'm not gonna cheat nobody, I'm not gonna rob nobody. And I'm gonna do my best to be as dignified and honorable as I can. Nobody's perfect.
Right.
But in the long run, that creates a situation where you're hard pressed to have people find something bad to say about you.
Yes.
And that's what gets you further, because if somebody says, well, I'm thinking about doing some business with Jasmine. What do you think? And they go, I don't know, man. But on the flip side, they go, well, no, that's a good move. That's a good move to make, because she good people. Then somebody who trusts them trust you.
Absolutely.
Without even knowing who you are.
Yes, you dropping so many gems. So with the current state of hip hop, what concerns you, if anything?
Content to a degree, and that's something that we control. We have to make sure that we don't fall into the traps of these big labels and the industry, where they are so driven by the dollar that they are convincing a lot of our artists to continue to put out a lot of this negative content that's further bringing down the community.
Right.
So we got to wise up to that as artists. Like, you know what? Okay, we ain't perfect. We're gonna make some ratchet songs here and there, but we got to make sure that what we feed the people is gonna be something that helps them grow as a people and as a community, compared to I'm influencing you to take this drug. I'm influencing you to go shoot up your op or whatever the case may be. So content is one thing, but the second thing also is the knowledge of the business. Like we spoke about earlier, make sure you come in with some semblance of a knowledge of business, to where you don't let these individuals rob you if you do decide to get involved with the big companies.
Absolutely, I agree with that 100%, because I mean, I've been in the content creative industry for a while now, but just at the beginning of this year, I started managing a multi-creative DJ, Young Sam. So he's the DJ for Sim Thug, but he's also a filmmaker, a producer. He just dropped the project with Killer Callion. And the first thing he told me was, he actually bought me this book, Everything You Need to Know About the Music Industry. He reads it over and over, but it's really teaching me a lot. And what I'm realizing is people really don't have no excuse today, because you have access to so many different type of resources to educate yourself, and that book is telling you everything you need to know about record labels and how you can use them to your advantage, why you should be independent, all the different things. And I just think that more artists should take their time and really invest in that craft, which is like you were here last week with the town hall meeting. I thought that that's something that's very, very necessary to be able to give a lot of younger artists. So with that being said, what's your advice to younger artists that's considering being independent and considering like, man, I just need help, this is just too much?
Yeah, you got to understand that God gave you the talent, but it's more than just your art.
Yes.
You know, that comes natural. You naturally give. You see a 3-year-old little boy and he can dance and he can sing and rap. It's like he got a God-given gift already in him.
Yes.
We have to understand how to turn that gift into a sustainable product that will change the lives of you and your family.
Yes.
The same way these executives change their lives off your work, they just sit behind a desk.
Yep.
So that's one of the main things I look at. But we also have to be community oriented. Like you was talking about the town hall meeting, that was a situation where artists and DJs were having a discussion that was music related, but we can't miss the community aspect of it as
Correct.
well, because people in that networking, people that are getting to know each other,
Yep.
and then we getting jewels that if you really pay attention, they're life lessons as well.
Yes.
So all of these things have to be merged into one so we can be a better people and better artists.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about a little bit beyond music. So we know you're a guru with the music, but let's talk about the Underground Dialogue podcast.
Oh.
So how did that come along, and just tell us about the platform as a whole?
Yeah, like 2018, a friend of mine, my brother Brian Muhammad, he reached out and he was like, man, KPFT radio station got a spot open to do a radio show. I never even thought about doing a radio show, didn't care about the radio, but I had been to that station a billion times on other shows, so I was familiar with it. So I was like, nah, I don't want to do no radio show. So he said, all right, hung up. I called him back 5 minutes later. I said, man, you know, I'm gonna try. So I did the radio show. I had K-Rino radio for like 2 or 3 years on KPFT. They started doing some stuff, moving all of the black shows around and changed, so I didn't like that. And I was in hiatus for a while. And my co-host Keith Stowe from the Underground Dialogue podcast, he had a setup in the building that he rents, and he was like, man, we just do a podcast.
Yeah.
And I waited about 5 or 6 months before I hit him about, I'll let you know. And about 3 years ago, I was like, you know what, let's go ahead and do it. And what that did was it gave us more freedom, because in a radio show, you're locked into a time slot. There's certain things you can and can't say. Once we started the podcast and I got a little taste of that freedom, like, oh man, we can go as long as we want, we can talk, say what we want.
Yep.
It was like somebody, you know, shot some heroin in my veins.
It was on and
yeah,
popping
I was
after
gone
that.
after that, yeah.
Okay, so like how was it like starting it? Because did you already have like experience with podcasting before? I know you've done a lot, but like, was it what was it like just getting it started off the ground? And then when you start telling everybody, okay, I'm about to roll out a podcast, or we rolling out a podcast, how did people receive it?
The beauty of it was the prior experience from the radio show, because when we did the radio show, we had already interviewed, you know, a lot of top people.
Yeah.
So it just was the same setup. It was just the same scenario, but just in a different situation.
Yeah.
So it was an easy transition where, you know, you just reach out to people and, hey, this is what I'm doing now. And some of them that had been on the radio show, they'll come on the podcast and be like, you know, can we cuss? Are we good? You know, because they was used to being in that on the radio.
Yeah.
So I was like, nah, we good. It just gave us a freedom. So the transition was great, but we were able to get more in depth with the audience. The only thing that I missed from the radio show compared to the podcast, we were able to do call-ins because we did the show live.
Yeah, so people.
And so we're trying to work to where we can get back to doing, you know, live call-ins and talk to people. That was really a good aspect of it.
Definitely. So what's the impact? What's the impact that it's had already, and what's the impact that you want it to continue to have?
That's a great question, because I think the impact for me, I can't speak for my co-host Kisto, but for me, I feel like our platform is a different type of space, a safer space for guests and particularly artists to come on, because unfortunately a lot of the platforms today, they're kind of fueled by controversy, they're fueled by what mess or beef I can get out of the person to kind of generate the views, and we don't do that. We strict on not buying into that or not leading people into that, trying to pull that out of our guests. Now, we have guests that already come in with that on their mind.
Yeah.
And if they begin to talk on that level, that's on them.
Right.
But we never throw logs on the fire. So I feel like our lane, and what I'm most proud of is that, and a lot of our guests have told us this, they're like, man, I like to come on y'all show because we more informative
Yes.
than worrying about some messy stuff, you know. So if people know they can come to us and get they real stuff off compared to the nonsense.
So just give us a few examples of some of the people or the type of people that y'all bring on the platform, because I know it's not just music.
No, not at all. And that's the thing. It's like it's predominantly rappers, of course. You know, that's the field I'm in. But politicians, activists, business owners, all different walks of life, they welcome to come on our show. From the well-known to the unknown.
I know that's right.
And that's another thing that we pride ourselves on too. We don't just chase names.
Right.
We don't chase big names. I could walk out this building right now, and a little homie could walk up and say, "Man, how can I come on your show?" I'm like, "Well, what you do?" You know, and then he'll be on the show.
Yeah.
Because how can somebody level up and get to a point where they're out there if nobody gives them a chance?
Opportunity.
If I look at you and say, "Well, man, don't nobody really know you, man," and you know, and when he come on the show, his episode might not get but 110 views,
right?
But that's not the point.
Right.
The point is get that man an opportunity to because you can add that to your resume.
Absolutely.
Whenever you start to ascend and grow, what have you done, man? Well, I've been on Underground Dialogue. I've done this. I've done that.
Yep.
So all help that we can provide, and not just me, anybody. If you can provide help for somebody, do that. Don't just say, "Well, you ain't such and such," or "You ain't on the level." No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%, because even with this platform with CCGo, like, we want this to be for the everyday person that we can bring in and highlight what they're doing. And we want to give them the luxury experience. Maybe they've never been to a studio. Maybe they've never been in a green room or never had this level of production. And it's like, let's bring them in, let's talk to them, because this is how you build relationships. This is how you build rapport with people. So I do acknowledge that about your platform, that y'all do let different people on there, anybody that's making an impact that y'all feel like y'all could talk to them about.
You just said something that was so cold, because you said if somebody comes in that's not really known and you bring them in, they get a chance to be. See, that's an experience moment.
Yes.
That they might be nervous when they first come on here.
Yep.
But now, if they go somewhere else, it's not unfamiliar to them.
Right.
They can say, "Okay, well, I've done it before. I'm a little more relaxed in that setting."
Definitely.
So that's super important. That's super important.
Okay, so as we're coming to the conclusion of the podcast, I got a few rapid fire questions, but first I just want to talk about, like, what's next. So, are you currently working on any music?
Oh, well, you know me. Come on. Now.
Always, huh? Never stop. Don't stop.
No, what's up, man? See, look, in physical copies at that.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's my latest project. We just dropped a couple of months ago. It's called The Industry. Even though we spell it
I see what y'all did there. Yes.
Right. Because every aspect of the industry is on that tree.
Yes.
And none of it is really geared towards helping us. It's geared towards ending us. So that's the new album I just released. Y'all can get it on the digital platforms as well. But the reason why I still do physical copies is because of the independence that we just got through talking about. The streaming platforms, they don't pay artists hardly anything. They're robbing. So in order to keep our power, we still do physicals. We sell them through our website.
Yep.
And they can get the physical copies, and you can keep the freedom of the artist intact. I saw an artist that was here at the town hall meeting. I didn't even see him when I was here, but I saw it online a few days ago, and he had cassette tapes.
Yes, he was selling. I seen him. Yep.
And man, I was in front of the computer just saluting because that is the key. This industry, they weeded out the physical copies to try to take away power from the independent.
Yes.
And everything got a funnel through them with the streaming where they're only paying you a piece of a penny.
Right.
So yeah, go get the album, South Park Coalition site.net, and support the movement.
Love that. Thank you. Thank you. We actually have a boombox up there. I'm going to make sure I pop it in there and see what's what. So what can fans expect next?
Yeah. More music. I'm dropping, that's the first album this year. I'm dropping 3 more albums this year. Got one dropping next month with my homie Tragic from Canada. And of course the podcast and the ARC, which is an organization we created in 2014. It's called Artists Respecting Community. And we get together with all forms of the music business community, and we have meetings where we figure out initiatives to go out and do positive things for the community. So we just relaunched that last Sunday, and we'll be coming with more stuff as we go along. So I'll be reaching out to y'all. Y'all come through and sit in on a couple
absolutely. Absolutely. So before I let you tell everybody where they can find and continue to support, let's go through these 5 rapid questions. First album you ever bought?
First album I ever bought was Michael Jackson Thriller.
Okay.
King's Flea Market.
I know that's right. Shout out to King's Flea Market. I'm going to say one of your favorite Houston artists, because I'm sure you can't pick just one, but one of your favorite Houston artists besides yourself.
Man. Face.
Okay. Shout out to Face.
Throw zero in there on the side.
Yeah. We love Ro. Vinyl or streaming?
Oh, vinyl all day.
Hands down. Freestyle or written?
I'm a written specialist. Freestyle ain't my strength, so I'm going to say written.
Okay. Morning or night studio session?
Night, all day long.
All night, huh? Yeah. One word that describes Houston?
Man. Diverse.
Okay, I agree. Favorite part about being independent?
Freedom.
One lesson every young artist should learn?
Business.
Yep. And finish this sentence for me. Hip hop is?
Life.
Hip hop is life. Yeah. So there we have it. K-Rino, thank you so much for coming through, sitting with us, and just giving us a history lesson. Let them know where they can follow you. Stay tuned into your music and everything you're doing.
You can follow me on Instagram, The Real K-Rino #1. My YouTube channel is The Real K-Rino. I've been doing that for a while as well. And South Park Coalition site.net is the website. Every artist should have a website. Don't just rely on these streaming platforms.
There you have it, y'all. As you know, we love to talk to people who are doing great things in our community, change makers. This particular episode was for the artists. If you're a young artist or you even trying to start a brand, please rewind this back and catch those gems. Once again, thank you, K-Rino, for stopping by. Y'all know how we like to do it here. If you heard something you like, follow, like, and subscribe, and I will check y'all out on the next episode. Yeah. Peace.